So specific cargo information, that is our topic number 4. Cargo specific information is an essential information about the cargo for all concerned individual or individuals, especially the master of the vessel. And it is stipulated in SOLAS 74 Chapter 6, which is the carriage of cargoes except dangerous goods, and in the Code of Safe Practice for Cargo Stowage and Securing. So those are the regulations that are governing this specific or this cargo specific information. Although SOLAS will be studied by you in your maritime law. And also this one, Code of Safe Practice and for Cargo Stowage and Securing. But here I am only telling you for your information what regulation is governing the cargo specific information. Okay, so chapter 6 of the SOLAS 1974 Convention. Okay, Regulation 1, Application. The chapter covers all types of cargo except liquids and gases in bulk. Those are for tankers, which owing to their particular hazards to ships or persons on board may require special precautions. The regulation include requirements for stowage and securing of cargo or cargo units such as containers. The chapter requires cargo ships carrying grain to comply with the International Grain Code. Those are the regulations that govern our topic. No? Although for grains, this is a separate topic, maybe topic number 6. So we will not study that here, only for your information. Okay, for cargo ships of less than 500 gross tonnage, the administration, if it considers that the sheltered nature and condition of the voyage are such as to render the application of any specific requirements of Part A or B of this chapter unreasonable or unnecessary, may take other effective measures to ensure the required safety for this ship. So if your vessel is less than 500 gross tonnage, maliit, they can be exempted in this as long as there is an effective measure to ensure the required safety for their vessel. Cargo Information Regulation 2 of the Chapter 6 SOLAS of the SOLAS Convention. So Regulation 2, the shipper shall provide the master or his representative with appropriate information on the cargo sufficiently in advance of loading to enable the precautions which may be necessary for proper stowage and safe carriage of the cargo to be put into effect. Such information shall be confirmed in writing and by appropriate shipping documents prior to loading the cargo on the ship. So this is your cargo specific information, which is under SOLAS, no? Okay, for cargo information, the cargo information shall include, in the case of general cargo and cargo carried in cargo units, a general description of the cargo, and then the gross mass of the cargo. So you see, I put this in bold letters, no? So general description of the cargo, gross mass of the cargo, and of the cargo units, and any relevant special properties of the cargo. For the purpose of this regulation, the cargo information required in subchapter 1.9 of the Code of Safe Practice for Cargo Stowage and Securing, adopted by the organization. So organization here means the IMO. By Resolution A.714 17th session, as may be amended, shall be provided. So it means you need to also to consult the Code of Safe Practice and Cargo Stowage and Securing. So remember that organization here is the IMO, and administration is your flag state. Any such amendment to Subcharter 1.9 shall be adopted, brought into force, and take effect in accordance with the provisions of Article 8 of the present convention concerning the amendment procedures applicable to the annex other than Chapter 1. So we will not study about those annexes. This is only to inform you what regulation is being used. Okay, in case of solid bulk cargo information, as required by the Section 4 of the IMSBC Code should be provided. Those are the cargo information that are needed. So, for number 2, solid bulk cargo, that is our next topic number 5. Okay, so according to the SOLAS Chapter 6, Regulation 2, cargo information should be appropriate information on the cargo, and it is the general description of the cargo, gross mass of the cargo, and any relevant special properties of the cargo. So that is coming from the shipper and going to the master. And from the master to you as the chief officer if you are the chief officer. So Regulation 1.9 of the Code of Safe Practice for Cargo Stowage and Securing, that is about cargo information. No? That is Regulation 1.9, that is about cargo information. And we have 1.9.1. Prior to shipment, the shipper should provide all necessary information about the cargo to enable the ship owner or ship operator to ensure that the different commodities to be carried are compatible with each other or suitably separated. And then the cargo is suitable for the ship. And then the ship is suitable for the cargo. And the cargo can be safely stowed and secured on board the ship and transported under all expected conditions during the intended voyage. That's why the shipper need to send the cargo information early or promptly because of those purposes. And then 1.9.2, the master should be provided with adequate information regarding the cargo to be carried so that each stowage may be properly planned for handling and transport. Of course, the master and the chief officer will make planning, or let's say the chief officer only will make the planning in behalf of the master. Then, of course, you need to give that early because you cannot plan that right away. No, it takes a few hours or a few days. Okay, so for maritime cargo, we have the general cargo. So the general cargo is divided into three categories: break bulk, neo bulk, and containerized. So for break bulk, those are the drums, bags, pallets, boxes. And for neo bulk, those are the lumber, paper, steel, vehicles. And for containerized, those are the containers, of course. Okay, so general cargo is unitized. So this is unitized cargo. Unitized means carried in defined load units. Defined load units. Defined means having a definite specification. So there is a weight, size. So that is meant by defined load units. Okay, so we have the three types of general cargo. That is the break bulk, concerns cargo that is carried in drums, bags, pallets, or boxes. Such ships are typically geared. Geared means having a crane or derricks. And then we have the neo bulk, concerns cargo where each pre-pack unit is accountable, such as lumber bundles, paper in rolls, steel, and vehicles. And then we have the containerized. The growth of container shipping required creating a new general cargo category where the cargo is being carried in container load units. So actually, your break bulk cargo can be loaded into a container. But they separated the type of general cargo for the container. Okay, so we have the break bulk items. Break bulk cargo operations include the handling, carriage, stowage, and storage of cargo as individual items. So these are the crates, cases, cartons, bags, bales, bundles, drums, and barrels. Listed in a number of bills of lading. So each general cargo has a separate bill of lading. Each covering different commodities. So nandito pala. No? Okay, the characteristics of the different cargo types are described under the general heading of break bulk cargo. But many of the handling, stowage, and storage requirements of these items are equally applicable when other modes of carriage are employed. For example, containers and ro-ro. Okay, we have the bag cargo. Bag commodities need to be sufficiently robust. Robust, ibig sabihin, strong. So, matibay, no? To withstand external pressure and compression. As the bag is designed to contain the contents rather than provide any substantial protection against external damage. Of course, the material used, although it is robust, it is also subject to damage in case it will be pricked by a sharp object. Such commodities might normally be carried in bulk or mini bulk operations, but for particular markets are shipped bagged in smaller quantities and include fertilizer, grain, seed, dried fruit, sugar, cement, coffee, flour, salt, mineral sand, fish meal, and dried milk. These bag cargos, pwede siyang mga fertilizer, no, and grains. Although those cargos can be carried by bulk. However, certain markets, ibig sabihin yung nag-order doon sa cargo na yon, gusto niya nakabag na para madali na niyang i-travel. Kasi kung bulk, baka doon sa kanilang pantalan wala silang gamit na para mas madali nilang i-travel by trucks. Kasi hindi naman dinala mo dyan sa Port of Manila, hindi naman dyan sa Port of Manila lang gagamitin, baka doon pa sa Ilocos, no? That's why mas gusto nila yung bag cargo, no? So example of bag cargo, as you can see here, ito, no, nakapagkarga na kami ng ganito, no? But my vessel is bulk carrier, hindi general cargo, pero nagkarga kami nito, no? Even rice, nagkarga kami nitong rice, no? Bags na ganyan, tapos in small bags, yung tag 25 kilos. Tag 25 kilos na bags. Tapos nakalagay pa siya dyan sa malaking bag na siguro mga 1 ton, no? We carried the rice from Benicia in California. Doon kami pumasok sa San Francisco, sa Golden Gate, ano? And then papunta doon sa isang maliit na port, no, doon sa loob, kaloob-looban pa. No? Kaya nadaanan namin yung Alcatraz. Papadala nila sa Japan yung bigas. Tapos yun yata ang tinatawag nilang Japanese rice, ano? Pero actually galing ng US. Or they can be carried, kasi general cargo, ano? They can be carried also in small bags, 25 kilo siguro, and then arranged like this, no? Meron siyang pallet sa ilalim. And the pallet, of course, can be carried by a forklift. Kaya madali din, ano. Pero yung bag na ganito can be carried also by forklift. Ipapasok lang nila yung anong tawag doon, yung kanyang pinaka-sling. Meron siyang apat na pinaka-sling doon. And kagandahan dito, yung bag na malalaki, they can load with more, no? Kasi sa amin, ginagamitan ng spreader, siguro mga 8 sabay-sabay. Kasi malaki yung bodega namin, hindi naman ganun maliit lang na barko to. 8 o 10 sabay-sabay, no? Kaya. Okay, bales and bundles. Commodities that are baled include wool, cotton, vegetable fiber, for example, jute, kapok, abaka. So yung kapok, alam niyo naman yun, ginagamit doon sa ating life jacket. So meron ding kapok na life jacket, ano. Those are the vegetable fiber, including abaka, ano? And then paper pulp, tobacco, skins first, rubber, hair or maybe animal skins, ano? Animal first, rubber, hair, cloth, etc. So sizes of bales vary greatly with some commodities. For example, wool and abaka. Compressed into high density bales, it is important not to rupture a covering. Break the binding material off or do not allow ingress of moisture to a highly density bale, as the resultant expansion of the commodity can make discharge extremely difficult, and in a container may distort or rupture the sidewalls. Yung compress into high density bales, so na-compress talaga siya, na ipit, no? Pag napasukan ng tubig, mag-expand. So kung nakalagay siya sa container, pwede niyang masira yung bakal, itutulak niya. Para rin yung ice, yung kinakita ko sa inyo, yung ice sa tubo. And then, kung doon naman sa bodega, siyempre ipit-ipit sila, magkakatabi. Once na nag-expand yan, mahirapan pag-diskarga, ano? Siyempre, pagka pwersahin mo kaya ng crane yun. Pero pag pinursa mo naman, baka masira. So, yun ang kaya mahirapan sila. Pero kaya naman nilang diskartehan. Okay, bales may also vary quite considerably in shape. Some may be square, for example, wool, unless double dumped, when the shape becomes oblong. Cylindrical or completely shapeless. Meron din mga shapeless. Many bales are now designed as modules to fit the interior of an ISO container. Module, ibig sabihin, separate item that is fitted in a ISO container. So, nakadesign na yung size niya para, let's say, magkasa yung apat sa isang container. Apat kada linya, no? So, makakapagkarga siya ng mas madami. So that is if you will be going to be assigned to a general cargo, no? Okay, stowage of bales and bundles. Being particularly vulnerable to chafe, bales should be well protected by matting and damage from sharp edges and other cargo which may cause damage. So chafe means damage caused by rubbing. Okay, so they should not be stowed with dusty or dirty cargo, which will mark or stain the covers. So yung hindi mo pwede siya ihalo, no? Because it will stain your cover. And then bales with torn or stained covers should be rejected, or the bill of lading closed accordingly. So it depends upon the bill of lading if it is accepted or not. But if there is no clause, walang clause doon sa bill of lading, then you should reject those bales with stained covers and or damaged or torn covers, na. Okay, particular attention should be paid to baled cotton. Okay, cases and cartons are used for a very wide range of commodities depending on the requirement of the particular cargo. Canned goods are nearly always packed in cartons. Many refrigerated goods are packed in cartons or open-sided crates. Attractive items that may be vulnerable to pilferage are often packed in strong, well-constructed cases. So sometimes there are very important items or very expensive items. So they are vulnerable to pilferage, no? So they are often packed in strong, well-constructed cases. Kasi kung karton lang, pwedeng nasira. Pwede sirain tapos pwedeng kunin. No? Okay, some large case goods. For example, CKD. So, CKD or cars knockdown, or sometimes you can hear it as completely knocked down. These are cargo parts that are delivered or exported and then assembled at the destination. No? So it is called cars knockdown. So these are car parts that are packaged and then transported by the vessel to the destination, and it will be assembled as a car at the destination. Okay, thus the crates and sometimes the contents are wet or damp on shipment and introduce moisture into the hold. Kasi sometimes it is open, it is left open or left in open space. And there is a possibility that it is wetted by rain, although small rain, no? Before loading. So that if that collected moisture already, then it will also introduce moisture into the cargo hold or the container. And to the detriment of other cargo. So the other cargo probably will be damaged because of that. Very large cases of construction equipment may be moved great distances after discharge, and the packaging is most important for the protection of the contents, as well as sometimes having a subsequent use of as storage or even temporary accommodation. It should also be noted that the crates or cases holding machinery may leak oil. So probably there is an oil inside that cargo, especially if those are heavy equipments. No? Siyempre may mga parts dyan na kailangan nilang maintain of oil para hindi kalawangin. Unless na yun ay stainless, walang problema. Okay, cartons may absorb or give out moisture under varying atmospheric conditions. And carton material will equalize with the moisture content of the air surrounding it in about 36 hours. Thus, cartons of good from a damped area may be relatively full of moisture when loaded into a hold or container. A moisture content of less than 12% in the fiberboard is usually considered safe from this particular problem. It has been known for carton materials to be wetted by the packers of goods to make the material more flexible. So binabasa pa ito ng mga nagpapak, no? To make it flexible daw yung kanya yung mga karton, ano? So ganyan lang ginagawa nila. So that it would be more flexible and easier to put into shape prior to filling with canned goods. A container load or a compartment load of carton goods can therefore have a very high volume of moisture inherent in the cartons at the time of loading, with subsequent possible problems of condensation. Those are the problems that we encounter in the care of cargo. on board. Even especially sa sa ganito um, yung general cargo, no? Okay, stowage of cases, crates, and cartons. Heavy cases should be reserved for bottom stowage where possible. Siyempre, yung mas mabigat sa ilalim mo ilalagay, no? So, common sense naman yun, no? With smaller packages on top. Small, very heavy packages should not be placed on top of and within the four corners of a large, lighter package to avoid the risk of the lower case collapsing. So, even if your package is small and there is a large package below, but your package is very heavy, so do not put that on top, especially on the corners. Any marks or indications for upright or protected stowage should be carefully observed. Light cases and cartons should be stowed one upon the other so that each one below bears the full weight of the one above, and particularly in the case of cartons of canned goods. No overhangs should occur, which might distort the cartons and rupture the contents. Okay, refrigerated cargo requires special care to ensure that adequate air can move through and around the cases, crates, or cartons as required for the particular commodity. Normally, ang reefer vessels, their hull is white. Yung nasa taas, white, no? Siyempre, yung nasa ilalim, because this is, you paint this with boot topping paint, that's why normally it is red. Normally, reefer white, no? Okay, any broken or whole cartons, cases, or crates should be examined at the time of loading, and if the contents are intact, they should be repaired prior to stowing. Pilfered or badly damaged cases, etc. should be rejected or the bills of lading closed accordingly. So, depende na naman sa bills of lading yung kung tatanggapin. Pero kung walang close na nakalagay, there is no sentences in your bills of lading that that tells you that you can accept the cargo, then do not accept those types of cargos. Okay, next is drums, barrels, and casks. So, liquids such as latex, chemicals, whiskey, detergents, oils, molasses, casings, paints, etc. may be carried in drums and casks. Powder granules and other solids such as chemicals, cement, some ores, swarf, and scrap metal, usually in second-hand drums, may also be shipped in such containers. Some of the above may be classed as dangerous goods. So, kung dangerous goods yan, you will study that in Seamanship 4, not here, no? In which the packaging requires the appropriate approval and labeling. Okay, drums may be made out of metal, fiberboard, or rigid plastic. Casks are built of wooden staves bound by hoops. So, ganito siya yung cask, no? Even yung barrel, parang ganyan din. Yung wooden staves yan, parang ano lang yan, pinagdikit-dikit lang na kahoy eh. Tapos, meron siyang support na hoops made of metal, no? Okay, so later I will explain to you. Meron akong dapat explain dyan. Okay, dito, no? So, drums stowed on their side should not have other cargo stowed on top. So, pagka yung drum daw, naka-stow siya, hindi ko alam Tagalog na stow, no? Or nakasalansan siya na nakahiga, dapat walang nakapatong, no? Pero kung ganito, katulad ng drum dito sa loob ng container, okay lang yan, patungan sa ibabaw. No? Okay, so drums holding liquid should always be at the bottom of the stove with the bung or lid uppermost. Ang bung, yung butas. Katulad ditong cask, may bung dyan. Yung drum naman, may bung dito sa ibabaw naman yon, di ba? May dalawang butas dyan. May isang maliit at saka isang yung medyo kasing laki ng kamao. No? Hindi naman, mas maliit ng konti. No? Ganyan. Okay, so barrels stowed on their sides should be bung up. Bung up and bilge free. No? Tandaan nyo yun ha, bung up and bilge free. Ibig sabihin, nakataas yung bang, yung butas, nakataas. In case na magkaroon ng leaking, ay hindi basta maubos yung laman. No? Kung may konting leaking lang, kung nakatayo siya, edi konti lang din ang leaking. Okay, that is yung bilge free, that is the bilge of the barrel should not support any weight. And coins, yung coins, that is the shape wedges, should be used to support the weight of at the quarter. So ipapaliwanag ko yan kung ano ibig sabihin yan, ano? Okay, punta muna tayo doon. Okay, so here, no? Okay, so this part, itong part na to, itong gitna, pinaka-tiyan, no? Ang tawag dyan, bilge. Tapos itong pababa na, ang tawag dyan, quarter. Tapos dito, ito yung ulo. Tapos yung, this is your bilge hoop. Mayroon naman pangalan dyan, di ba? Bilge hoop. Yan yung support niya. Tapos may quarter hoop ka dyan. So nakita nyo yung bang hole, no? That is your bang hole. Butas siya dyan pwedeng sipsipin yan, yung laman yan. Kung alak yan, siyempre meron silang instrument, gagawin nila dyan, pwede nila masipsip. So ito, nakalagay bilge free. Ibig sabihin, huwag mong ipapatong itong tiyan niya or katawan niya, huwag mong ipapatong kahit saan. So yun ang bilge free. Kasi baka bumigay siya, ano? Dapat may ganito, yung ganito. So you can see the other picture. Dapat ganito siya. Meron siyang coin. Coin ang tawag doon, yung kanyang stand. Meron siyang coin, which is nakalagay doon sa quarter, dito banda. Quarter. Sa medyo pababa. So yung gitna, libre. Yan, ganun lang naman, no? Babalik ako. Okay, so dito, as a general rule, fiberboard drums should always be upright. Ganito, nakatayo, no? Yung fiberboard, ito metal to eh. And then when more than one chair of metal drums are to be stowed, particularly into a container where vibration may be experienced during inland transport, it is prudent to lay soft dunnage. That is made of wood, pwede ring hardboard, pwede ring chipboard. Between each chair. Chair, ibig sabihin yung patong. Kung ilang patong, ilang chairs. So, makita nyo dito, especially daw sa container. Pero kahit hindi container, no? Kahit dun sa bodega, kung sakaling puro drum yung karga mo, meron kasing drum na matibay itong yung takip niya, no? So kahit maggasgas diyan, walang problema. Dudulas-dulas lang siya, no? However, siyempre pag nag-roll yung barko, dudulas-dulas din yung diyan, no? Siyempre may konting gap yan. Siyempre may babangga-bangga diyan, no? Kaya mas maganda kung lagyan mo ng kahoy. Kasi once na dumulas yun, kumagat na siya sa kahoy, steady na yun cargo mo. Lagyan mo ng kahoy dito, dunnage, tawag doon. Lahat nung bali kada isang hilera, dalawang dunnage. Napapatungan din nung drum. So ganun ang purpose, no? Okay, stowage of drums. This may not be necessary if drums are designed to nest one above the other. Hindi daw necessary na maglagay ng kahoy kung nakadesign yung drum. Kaso nga lang, sabi ko nga, kahit matibay yon, mas maganda pa rin kung meron, no? Although it is usually prudent to provide intermediate dunnage in a container, which allows the rings of the drums to bite in and grip and also protect against chafe. Protection niya yung chafe, which is damaged by rubbing. Since some rolling hoops on metal drums form part of the drum wall itself, These hoops may be very vulnerable to chafe. Minsan katulad yung ibang drum may meron siyang support, no? Let's say that is made of fiberboard, may support 'yon. Then it is vulnerable to chafe, yung gasgas. And in some instances may need protection from soft damage to prevent them rubbing one against the other and rupturing while in transit. So tignan mo kung kinakailangan lagyan ng damage in between ng mga drums ay gawin mo, no? Okay, the tops of drums which have been standing out in the open, yung nandun sa labas na, may hold rainwater, frost, or snow trapped within the rims. So nakita niyo naman yung drum, di ba? Yung ibabaw niyan, pwedeng mag-collect ng kunting tubig. Okay, so this should be tipped out and if possible, the dump areas allowed to dry before loading into a compartment or stuffing into a container. Bago mo ilagay sa container o kaya sa bodega, tanggalin mo muna yung tubig. Punasan mo, patuyuin mo. Particularly in other cargo, in that compartment can be affected by moisture. Lalo na kung may kahalo siya, no? Na pwedeng ma-affect ng moisture. So, you need to prevent that. Okay, so next is intermediate bulk containers. Okay, an IBC or intermediate bulk container, this is different from the ISO container, no? Yung mga kinakarga ng truck at sa kinakarga ng container vessel. Iba ito, no? Maliliit ito eh. Hindi katulad ng mga 20-footer saka 40-footer, no? Actually, ito pwedeng ilagay doon sa loob ng container, no? Okay, so anyway, I will mention it also here. An IBC is a disposable or reusable container designed for the carriage of bulk commodities in parcels of between 0.5 and 3 tons. So metric tons yan. They are interchangeable between transport systems and the design incorporates attachment to facilitate efficient mechanical handling. Katulad dito, nakita nyo to, oh. Merong pagtutusukan ng forklift. So, ibig sabihin, naka-design na siya para madaling i-handle for cargo handling. No? Some are designed for carrying liquids, but they are not suitable for pressurized commodities katulad ng ating gasol or silane. Hindi siya para diyan. No? And emptying should be possible without the use of pressure. So, pwede mong tanggalin yung laman without the use of pressure. Okay, so yun ang sinasabi ko, ano? So, this one, meron na siyang talaga kasamang yung plastic na pallet. Oh, plastic yan, hindi yan wooden. Meron din wooden, pero ito plastic. At saka nakadikit na yun doon sa support niya na metal crate, no? Okay, ganun din to, no? Pwede rin itusok yung forklift doon sa ilalim, no? So this is collapsible. This one is also collapsible. Nakita nyo, may bisagra, oh. Madali lang buksan, madali lang tanggalin yung laman sa loob. Okay, those are IBC. Nakalagay dito, they differ from ISO freight containers in size and non-uniformity of shape. Indeed, some are designed to be modules also of the internal dimensions of ISO freight containers. Katulad din ng bale. Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina, no? Kasi, sinukat na nila na eksakto nito yung 4, no? 4 dyan, 4 dito din sa kabila. So, pwede siyang ganon, no? Pag ikinarga sa container para ma-maximize yung space. So, makita nyo, matibay pagkalasing, hindi siya basta mahulog. And then, yung bag na ganito, this is also considered as a type of IBC. Intermediate bulk container din yan, yung ganyang malaking bag. No? Okay, an IBC may be constructed in either a flexible form, that is a bag, able to carry dry bulk or liquid, or a rigid form, for example fiberboard, that is either collapsible or non-collapsible with or without a lining. Materials used for dry bulk bags include woven polypropylene and nylon, PVC, or PU, PU-coated polyester. PU is polyurethane. So, polyurethane coated polyester. It can also be made by plastic. Um, it can also be made by rubber, while rigid beams may be constructed of fiberboard, glued or stapled, and then can be made by metal, plastic, or a combination of these. No? So dito pala na PVC or ano pala yon? PVC, polyvinyl, polyvinyl or PU, polyurethane. Okay, so we will continue with intermediate bulk containers. Typical commodities include cement, china clay, sugar, plastic granules, carbon black, sand, powdered chemicals, syrup, fruit juices, oils, detergent, liquids, and non-hazardous chemical liquids. Some IBCs are constructed in such a way and of such dimension that they are suitable for stuffing into ISO container. So, it means they are designed, no? So that they can be stuck inside the container with the maximum use of the cube, no? Cube and or the space, maximum space. They are suitable for stuffing into ISO containers to obtain maximum utilization of cube and weight. When a container is so stuffed, care must be taken to ensure all lifting points are easily accessible when stripping the container. Kung i-discharge natin yung cargo doon sa loob ng container, then it should be easily done. Ibig sabihin, may kunting agwat pa rin kahit na they are stuffed inside the container, so that the small forklift can discharge the cargo. When stowed in a general cargo ship, it is advisable to keep IBCs separate from other forms of break bulk cargo so that they can be readily lifted, handled, and positioned using mechanical means. If an IBC is damaged during handling, it should immediately be temporarily repaired to preserve integrity until the end of the voyage. So IBCs that are designed for one voyage only should not be reused, meaning yung disposable, no? So if this is disposable, then never reuse it. Okay, containers meaning intermediate bulk containers, no? Not the ISO freight containers which is carried in container ship. Iba yan, no? So here container here refers to the IBCs. So IBCs are usually manufactured to a particular customer's requirements for size, material, and thus the requirement of the commodity to be carried. Okay, so plant dimensions are usually compatible with the standard pallet sizes. So yung actually yung IBC, it can be customized to yung customer's requirement for size, no? So pwede, pero meron din plant dimensions which are compatible with the standard pallet sizes. Kasi yung pallet size ay kasya doon sa loob ng container yung dalawa, no? Dalawa. So pwede mo pang pagpatungin. Okay, indeed, some IBCs utilize a pallet as part of the base. This allows stacking and handling to be complementary to the stacking and handling of other unit loads. So, kung napansin nyo yung ating balikan natin konti. Lagpas yata. Okay, so here, no? So, makita nyo itong dito. This is actually a liquid container, ano? So minsan may nasusundan ako na pick up containing this, siguro pang disinfect, no? So ito, Meron siyang parang crates. This is connected to a pallet which is made in plastic. So naka-design na siya, hindi na yan tinatanggal, kasama na yan sa IBC. Hindi katulad ng pallet na kahoy na temporary lang, no? So this one is steady already, designed as it is. So ganun siya, no? Okay, so balik tayo doon. Okay, bins are usually fitted with access for forklift tines at the bottom or may have a lifting points on top. The fiberboard bin is constructed from a heavy-duty double-walled corrugated fiberboard which is sometimes glued and more usually stapled at the joints. Any lining is usually by a light plastic material designed for one-way use only. And then bins may be fitted with a metal frame which improves the rigidity and facilitates stacking. Nakita nyo yung metal frame kanina, no? So sometimes they are fitted with that. Okay, bags. So yun, bags are also, I mentioned this before, no? Yung bags are also considered as intermediate bulk containers. So bags are fitted with strapping loops built into the bag to facilitate lifting and may also have a loop on the underside so that the bag may be easily upended for emptying. So meron siyang loop for carrying dito sa taas. Ayun yung green in color kung makita nyo to. And then meron din siya dun sa ilalim, no? Sa ilalim there is also a loop na hindi masyadong mahaba, mas mahaba ng konti aring na itong kulay green na nasa ibabaw na. So ang gamit naman nun, if you are going to gusto mo ibaliktad para matanggal yung laman, then hatakin mo lang doon sa ilalim, buhatin mo sa ilalim at matatanggal na. Siyempre hindi ka magbuhat, that is the forklift. Mabigat yan, hindi natin kayang buhatin yan, ano? Okay, IBCs should not be filled with commodities which can damage the material or construction in such a way as to reduce their overall strength, nor should they be filled with more goods than the safe working load. Meron din siyang safe working load, yung bag na yan, ano? So, naka-indicate yan, either nakasulat or sticker. So, appropriate national or international regulations should be complied with. For example, the IMDG code. So, you are learning the IMDG code in Seamanship 4, no? Bags are designed to be handled by forklift trucks, cranes, and derricks using 1, 2, or 4 lifting points. And it is important that all points are utilized whenever the loaded bag is lifted. So, siyempre, kung bubuhatin mo, dapat yung 4 na lifting points niya. Kung 4 yung kanyang loop, then use them all, no? So, bins are usually supplied with skids, fork packets, or similar and should always be lifted and handled using those facilities. So, instead of pallets, meron na nakalagay na fork packets for the bins. Okay, manufacturers' recommendations for handling should be followed at all times regarding lifting, stacking, securing, and lifting points. Containers should not normally be stacked more than 3 or 4 high and only when construction of the IBCs itself and or the strength of the contents will permit the resulting pressure of such top weight. Special lifting cradles are often used to facilitate the multiple handling of IBCs, and care should be taken to ensure that the safe working load of the cradle is not exceeded. So you can also use lifting cradles, no, so that you can carry more than one IBCs, no. So yung cradle, that is yung parang crates din siya pero malaki na siya kasi ang more than one IBCs. Okay, thank you for listening. Okay, so I will end this meeting. If you have any question, just ask me in the group chat.